Hey guys, welcome back to another Winning Plays YouTube video, and I have some Bitcoin technical analysis and some thoughts on the current crypto market and kind of a broad thought on the whole market with Russia and inflation and all that stuff, and where I'm thinking where the market is gonna go. And looking at the Bitcoin chart, I changed the lines. They're all yellow now. Red means resistance. Well, previous resistance or potential resistance, and green represents relative support. So on this line right here, dating all the way back since October 3rd, 2020, we had the first touch in beginning of October of 2020 and then middle of July of 2021. Then we hit it again right here on January 7th. And we did wick down. You see this wick down and then bounce back up. Got rejected by this macro or micro resistance line. Then we did break down. And then now we're seeing a kind of small, I would say a dead cat bounce with Bitcoin. I mean, there is a good trend forming on this uptrend. We have here, and here. And if we do bounce back up, that would be pretty good for the crypto market as a whole. But do I expect it to come up here? If it does come up to here, like past like 46K, but then the RSI does another lower low, like that kind of thing, and then the regular RSI maybe does this, that'll be a downtrend. Yeah, we're doing higher highs, but the buying power of the RSI and the stochastic, it's not there. So yeah, we might produce a higher high, but then we'll just be making a what's called a rising wedge formation. Let's say Bitcoin gets up to like here, and then the rising wedge would start here. It would be kind of like this trend, and then we could just see a drop down kind of thing. There, and then drop down, little better drawing action. Another reason why I think it is just like a dead cat bounce and potentially a rising wedge formation. Yeah, we could bounce off this trend line and come back up and produce a higher high in the micro trend. But if the RSI doesn't produce a higher high or gets above like the previous high, then it is pretty bearish. And another reason is the Keltner channel. If it can't get like a partial body close above of it, like here, we blasted right through the top and then came back down and acted as the bottom line as support. Then we did smother the top of the Keltner, and then you can see there's a lot of body closes above it going up on the bullish side. And then even back in 2020, all of this and all of this and all of this, that's all like above the Keltner channel, or like smothering it and going back up. And like we're not seeing that here. All we're seeing is getting rejected from the top of the Keltner and then coming back down to the middle, and I don't know. That's why I think we don't have enough indicators saying that we are going to produce a higher high. We might see more chop, because if we do get below this bottom Keltner, I can just see us go back down to like 38K. And looking at the Bitcoin CME futures chart, if we zoom in here, there's actually another gap that is formed. This is in the way. Let me move this move my horrible handwriting out of the way. We actually created another, another gap on the CME futures. So here to here we have a gap between around 40.5k and 41.3k. So yeah, and usually when gaps are formed on the CME futures chart, they are usually filled within a couple weeks. So yeah, so I think we're going to be seeing a gap fill here on the Bitcoin CME futures chart. So another poor example of my handwriting, 4.5k. There's probably an easier way to to make like labels like this. Boom. Okay, 40.5k to 41.3k. And if you don't know what the Bitcoin CME futures are and don't know what gaps and gap fills are, I would probably just YouTube that. I mean, I could potentially make a video on that, but it's kind of complicated, and I'm not the best person to explain to make that explanation. But there's a lot of videos I watched and learned from that talked about the Bitcoin CME futures chart. And we did make a gap fill, and it looks like we're going to fill this around, let's say, 40.5k. And if we go back to the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin, Bitstamp, and that would take us down to around this green support line, around 39.6k, around here-ish. I mean, if we go back to around like low 40Ks, I mean, that's just another line of confluence for the Bitcoin chart. And yeah, that I don't think that would be good, because we would have a lot of lines of confluence. We would have this line of confluence, this line of confluence, and another line. I mean, if we did hold it, then that would be good. But if we didn't, I could see us go back down to, again, 38k to the bottom of the Keltner, and then from there, maybe see another bounce back up to the middle Keltner channel, and then here come back up, and then kind of use this line as kind of a support line. And then I don't know, something like that. I don't think we're on a bullish trend just yet, because I mean, yeah, we have this uptrend right here, but like that's it really in the RSI. If we do produce another higher low and a higher high, that's just a call for a rising wedge formation to come in, making us go back down. So watch out for this gap fill to take place. And there's been a lot of news of like an actual like spot ETF for Bitcoin coming about. And if that ever happens, I think we're going to drop off of that news. But whenever that news takes place, where they have a date, this is going to be the IPO of an actual Bitcoin spot ETF. I feel like we're going to see a run up when they have an actual date of when the IPO is. And then whenever the IPO is released, we're going to see a big drop, because we saw the Coinbase IPO come out, drop, BITO futures ETF, and a drop. And then back in 2016/2017, the Bitcoin CME futures chart came out, and then we had the top of the 2017 bull market. So yeah, anything crypto related that goes into like the stock the stock world and has an IPO, we see a drop. And that is played out multiple times. Every single time a big IPO has came out, or a big like release of a traditional market, crypto coming out in a traditional market, we always see a drop down no matter what. And I feel like it's a drop. We do drop because of that stuff, because a lot of people hype up these events like the Coinbase IPO, first exchange IPOing, and then the Bitcoin ETF, the first Bitcoin related ETF coming out, and everyone's just hyping it up, getting a lot of new users coming in, and then all the people that bought like here or here, they're just dumping the bags on you, and then they're cashing out, and then they bought here, sold up here, and then bought back here, sold up here, then they're probably buying around here or maybe a little lower. But yeah, so watch out for that. Remember, buy the rumor, sell the news. The news comes out where this is the date. This is the date for the new Bitcoin spot ETF. You better know to sell. So watch out. Then another point I was talking about in the beginning of the video, Russia invading Ukraine, because this is affecting the markets. I fucking highly doubt Russia is going to invade Ukraine. Even though all the news is saying Russia has 90% of its military at the border. Yeah, but if he went to war, he'd be fucking insane. The reason why I think he's doing all this tension between him and Ukraine and NATO and all that shit is because he wants to have better trade deals with NATO and negotiate better deals or something along those lines, because like this is stressing people the fuck out and stressing out the markets, and all Russia has to do is not invade and just have reports saying he's going to invade on Tuesday, he's going to invade on Wednesday, and it never happens, and everyone's just freaking out and selling and affecting the US dollar and affecting the US stock market and all that shit. And he's benefiting on just the potential of a war, even though he's not gonna. I doubt he's gonna do it, because if he does it, then like that's World War III, and that's no good for anyone, even for Russia. And like all he's gonna use this for is trading negotiations and stuff like that. And that's my opinion on it. Like, I highly doubt, even though everyone's saying, yeah, he was supposed to invade Tuesday. Oh, that never happened. Invade Wednesday. Oh, that never happened. Like, why would Russia say, yeah, we're going to invade on a certain day, so be ready for it because we're going to bomb you or some shit? Like, that's... No. So, Russia invading Ukraine is getting overhyped by the media, and it is FUD. So, even though it is FUD, it is affecting the markets. So, just be ready to buy different projects when they dip, like Fuse Network. Let me bring that chart up. I use Dex Screener because TradingView doesn't have a good chart for Fuse. I talked about this when it was around $1.50. It did drop to 60 cents. So I'm down a little bit. I've been whatchamacallit, dollar cost averaging down, but I believe this is a very good project. I got into this project and I kind of FOMO'd in, bought around here, this market right here, like around $1.50, went up to like 220, 211, 217 or whatever, and I was like, yo, let's go. And then it dropped down because of the whole inflation and whatnot. But I've been looking at the chart, and I've noticed a trend On TikTok, whenever, because I'm kind of big on TikTok relatively to other TikTokers, around 48K, and I have friends on TikTok. They're all also crypto influencers, and they have been making videos about Fuse. They just like, oh, top 3 layer ones, and the Fuse network's up there. And not many people have been talking about Fuse network. But then I've been seeing more and more and more videos of it saying it is a good project. It is a good project, and you want the next Solana or next AVAX get into Fuse. So that's good, planting the seed in people's heads that Fuse is the next 100x potentially. But I've been asking, when is the time good to buy? And when it dropped, I bought around 70 cents. So my average went down to, what's it called, $1 something. Then bought more at, well, I'm gonna potentially buy more around 55-ish. Just looking at the chart, around 50 maybe. Whenever it hits this line up here, around 51, 52 cents. And because that's one of the highs on Fuse, and looking at the previous, this is way too much to look at. Sometimes you got to keep your charts simple. I get overboard on the lines and stuff, even though sometimes they don't help. So yeah, 50, 51, 52, trying to buy it around there. And sometimes I do this where I just measure like top from bottom, 72%, and then top to bottom, see, 72%. We're like around that top to bottom area where it's like it's gone down from the top 72% to 72%, which is good. But then if you do it, the lines, the wicks are kind of, if you do it from the top on the wicks, it's kind of misleading. So if I do from the top of the line chart at 69%, top of the line chart we're at 70%. So that is another good indication we hit an oversold part, but I still think we could still go back down. Only because the Keltner channel, looking at past performance, we had the pop up, another pop, higher high, and then drop, and then we had a dead cat bounce, and then drop all the way, kind of thing. So I think we're on the third part where we're gonna drop even further, but we're gonna hold the bottom of the Keltner. So around, see, the Keltner is around 30, 54, 53, and the bottom, if the price goes lower, the Keltner channel will creep down more to maybe, around this area, around 51, 52, 53 cents. And then whenever we see the Keltner channel, the bands get very, very close, like right here. And it's in a range of, let's say, here to here is the 36, 37% range of the Keltner channels. And right now the range of the Keltner channels are at 42, 43K. And from the bottom, from the top to the bottom, so like 37K. We are kind of there, but I want to see the Keltner channels fall, the top of the Keltner channel fall even more, while the bottom kind of stays the same and stabilizes. like we saw back in December of 2021. And then whenever we see low volume and then the price action kind of just goes back and forth, and we don't really produce a higher high, we don't really produce a lower low, we're just consolidating. I want to see this consolidating event like here. I don't think we're there yet. We're coming off a dead cat bounce like we did here, and once we hug and smother the bottom Keltner channel, I could see it's just like doing this around 49 to 50 cents, another bounce back up. That's one project I've been looking at, and a project you guys should do your research on, because I am very bullish on this project, and I feel like it is another layer 1 that could literally 100x, because the market cap is so low, only at, like it says right here, only at 85 million. This could easily go to $1 billion market cap, because in my previous video I talked about what their goals are and what they want to do. They're really focusing on getting third world countries into crypto, and once we tap into like Africa, getting them into the crypto world and getting them into Fuse network, then that is very bullish. And the thing is, you can only buy it on decentralized exchanges like Uniswap on the Ethereum network or PancakeSwap on the Binance Smart Chain network. So Fuse isn't on any big exchanges at all. If you look at Fuse right now, they're on Gate.io and MEXC. So those are the only two like centralized exchanges. And like who uses Gate.io or MEXC? I mean, if it gets on KuCoin, that's probably one of the biggest catalysts of it going back up. But yeah, the chart primed to see a consolidation phase, and I like it is because it's just so fast. If you've ever used the thing, if you use the network, it's so fast and so cheap compared to, like, I feel it's a lot faster than Solana and AVAX, and a lot cheaper fees. And another thing is, like, I've been seeing a lot of decentralized exchanges. People started making NFTs on the Fuse network because it's so cheap. So a lot of people getting into Fuse, but we are in a downtrend in the current market. So I don't expect Fuse to, make all-time highs when everything is just down. And then looking at that's probably the biggest one I'm invested in right now, and I'm in Helium because I have Helium miners, Ravencoin, because still mining Ravencoin, and then probably the other two I'm big on is 100 Finance and the Pocket Network. But I won't get into like the charts here. It doesn't really matter because we're in a downtrend. I'm like slightly invested in these two, but mostly invested in Fuse compared to the two. I mean, I'm in a lot of like other projects like, Spell and Polkadot and Nexo. Nexo's another one. That's just a centralized exchange. I haven't even looked at the price of this, but you can 3x leverage trade now on Nexo, which is kind of crazy. But market's falling. Bitcoin's fell like $200 since I started this video. But I mean, that's all I have. I'm very, very bullish on Fuse, so do your research on that if you want to get into it. Might make a video on how to get your money into the Fuse network. It's pretty easy. Just use PancakeSwap. Pretty easy. But other than that, I don't have much else to talk about. Trying to think, but Well, yeah, that's it. Let me know in the comments if you did like this video and your thoughts on Russia, Fuse Network, Bitcoin, and where we're going into the crypto market. So give me a comment, give me a like, follow, and subscribe. Peace.